Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every person's life when the ground beneath their feet shifts and the horizon they once relied upon dissolves into chaos. It might be the shattering of a long-held belief, the collapse of a relationship, or the stark realization that you've been walking the wrong path. These moments, terrifying, humbling, and deeply personal, constitute the most eye-opening 60 minutes of your life. In life, we all encounter moments of chaos, those times when everything you thought you knew, everything you thought was stable and predictable, suddenly unravels. It may happen through an unexpected personal loss, a profound failure, or even through the realization that the life you've been living no longer fits with who you are becoming. These moments are not merely setbacks, but they present a fundamental challenge to your sense of order. It's a challenge that forces you to confront what you've avoided, denied, or taken for granted. And in these moments, the instinct for most people is to retreat, to run, to seek comfort, and to escape the overwhelming turbulence of the unknown. But what if you didn't run? What if instead you confronted the chaos head-on? When we speak of chaos, it's often misunderstood. Chaos isn't simply a destructive force, it's also an undeniable part of life itself. It is the very thing that allows for growth and change. Without chaos, there would be no progress, no evolution, no emergence of new possibilities. And yet, our instinct is to resist it because it shakes the very foundations we've built our lives upon. We want to avoid the discomfort, the vulnerability, the uncertainty that chaos brings. But there's a fundamental truth here. Chaos is a signal. It's not something that should be feared or avoided, but something that must be engaged with. It's a signal that the structures you have created in your life are either not enough or no longer serve you. They are outdated and they are calling for you to rebuild, to reassess, and to reorient yourself in a new direction. The very idea of confronting chaos requires a level of courage that most people never fully realize they possess. This courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the willingness to act despite it. It's about choosing to stand tall in the midst of uncertainty and to begin rebuilding the world around you, not by retreating from the disorder, but by engaging with it directly. It's about taking responsibility for the elements of your life that you have the power to influence. And while chaos may appear to be a storm, a force without rhyme or reason, what you'll find as you confront it is that beneath the chaos, there is a hidden order waiting to be revealed. In embracing the chaos, you learn to craft your own order, one that is authentic to who you are and where you're going. We all experience this in different ways, but it is in the moments of chaos that we truly learn what we are made of. We learn our own limitations, our weaknesses, and our capacity for resilience. But we also learn how to adapt, how to respond to life's challenges with creativity and wisdom. Chaos compels us to grow. It doesn't allow us to stay stagnant or passive. It pushes us to act, to think, to choose, and ultimately, to change. It forces us to stretch beyond our comfort zones and become someone we didn't even know we could be. To confront chaos is to accept that you cannot control everything in life. You can't shield yourself from all the storms. You can't predict or avoid every challenge that will come your way. But you can decide how you will face them. Will you freeze in fear, or will you move forward with purpose and clarity? Will you crumble under the weight of the disorder, or will you use it as a catalyst for transformation? In those moments of chaos, you are not just a passive observer. You are an active participant in the creation of your own destiny. And it's in that participation, that willingness to confront the unknown, that life becomes most profound. The encounter with the unknown is one of the most pivotal and unsettling experiences a person can face. It represents a breach in the predictable world we work so hard to construct around ourselves, a disruption in the assumptions we hold about who we are, what we want, and what we believe to be true. The unknown, by its very nature, is something that we cannot fully control, define, or anticipate. It stands as a vast and often intimidating frontier, where answers are not clear, where outcomes are uncertain, and where the path forward can be obscured by doubt and fear. And yet, it is in this very space, this vast expanse of uncertainty, that we encounter the possibility of transformation. Most of us spend much of our lives attempting to avoid the unknown. We build routines, create structures, and adopt beliefs that provide us with a sense of stability and predictability. This is a natural human instinct. Our brains are wired to seek out patterns, to make sense of the world around us, and to shield ourselves from the unpredictability of life. We feel safer when things are familiar, when we can anticipate the future, and when we believe we have control over our circumstances. The unknown, on the other hand, feels like a threat, a place where we might lose everything, a place where we might fail, where our vulnerabilities could be exposed, and where the outcomes may not align with our desires. It is the source of our anxiety, our doubts, and our insecurities. As much as we try to avoid the unknown, it is an inescapable part of the human experience. It shows up in different forms, whether in a sudden change in life circumstances, a profound loss, or a situation that requires us to confront our deepest fears or unexamined beliefs. In these moments, we are forced to make a choice, either to turn away from the unknown in fear or to face it, to lean into it and explore its depths. And it is in this very choice, in the decision to engage with the unknown rather than retreat from it, that profound growth occurs. When we face the unknown, we step into a space that challenges us at every level. It demands that we question everything we thought we knew. It asks us to examine our beliefs, our values, and our assumptions about the world. It confronts us with the fact that there is much more we don't understand, and that the future is not something we can predict with certainty. But in this confrontation lies an opportunity to transcend our limitations, to embrace the complexity of life, and to stretch our capacities in ways we never thought possible. The unknown forces us to move beyond the confines of what is comfortable and familiar. It invites us to explore new territories, to take risks, and to trust ourselves even when the outcomes are unclear. It asks us to be vulnerable and to relinquish our attachment to certainty. It is a test of courage, not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. In stepping into the unknown, we learn to navigate uncertainty. We learn to become comfortable with discomfort, to trust in our ability to adapt and to find our way even when the road is not marked. It is through these encounters that we begin to understand what we are truly capable of. We discover new dimensions of strength, resilience, and creativity within ourselves. And in this discovery, the unknown becomes less of a threat and more of an ally, a teacher that guides us toward new possibilities, new horizons, and new ways of being. The encounter with the unknown is not something to fear. It is something to embrace, for it holds the key to our growth, our transformation, and our future. Truth, in its most raw and unfiltered form, is a powerful force that demands attention. It is often uncomfortable, inconvenient, and disruptive. It forces us to confront the reality of who we are, what we have done, and the world we live in, without the layers of denial or distortion that we typically surround ourselves with. Most people instinctively shy away from the truth, especially when it is painful or challenges their deeply held beliefs. It's far easier to stay within the confines of comforting lies or half-truths that allow us to continue on without disruption. But the power of truth is undeniable. It has the capacity to break down the false walls we've built around ourselves, revealing the world as it truly is and providing the clarity necessary to move forward. Truth is not merely an abstract concept or an intellectual exercise. It is the foundation of personal integrity and societal flourishing. Without truth, there can be no trust, no meaningful connection, and no lasting progress. When we lie to ourselves or to others, we betray that foundational integrity. Lies may offer temporary comfort or protection, but they inevitably erode trust, destroy relationships, and, most importantly, diminish the person telling them. The deeper the lie, the greater the cost of maintaining it. To live in falsehood is to live in a state of dissonance, where our words and actions no longer align with the reality we are facing. This inner conflict over time corrodes our sense of self and can lead to a profound sense of emptiness or confusion. Telling the truth, on the other hand, is the act of aligning oneself with reality, no matter how difficult or unpleasant that reality might be. The truth often comes with pain, but it is a pain that carries the potential for healing and growth. When we acknowledge the truth, whether it's about our own shortcomings, our relationships, or the circumstances in our lives, we take the first step toward transformation. It is in truth that we begin to see things as they are, without distortion or illusion, And from this clarity comes the capacity to make meaningful choices. But truth isn't always a clear or easy thing to identify. We may think we know the truth, but upon closer examination, we realize that we've been operating with incomplete or insufficient information. The truth can sometimes be difficult to grasp, buried beneath layers of assumption, bias, or emotion. Yet, even when the truth is hard to discern, it is worth pursuing. The search for truth requires a willingness to confront uncomfortable realities, to question assumptions, and to strip away the layers of self-deception that we often rely on for security. The truth also has the power to heal. When we face the truth, particularly in the context of our own flaws or past mistakes, we allow ourselves to begin the process of healing and growth. Admitting where we've gone wrong doesn't diminish us, it empowers us to change, to learn, and to do better. Truth then becomes not just a source of personal clarity, but also a source of strength. In accepting the truth, we gain the ability to move forward with purpose and integrity, to correct our course, and to build a life that is grounded in authenticity. But there is another layer to the power of truth. It is liberating. To live without the burden of deceit is to live in alignment with your authentic self. Truth offers freedom, the freedom to express yourself honestly, to interact with the world in a way that is genuine, and to make decisions that are based on reality rather than illusion. In this sense, truth is not just a moral imperative, but a path to personal liberation. It frees us from the chains of falsehoods, excuses, and justifications, allowing us to step into the world with clarity and confidence. Yet, despite all of its power, truth is not always welcomed. It challenges our egos, disrupts our comfort zones, and can turn our world upside down. But it is precisely in these moments of discomfort, when the truth cuts through the layers of self-deception, that true transformation can begin. To accept the truth is to embrace growth, to embrace the uncomfortable journey of becoming more than we were before. Truth forces us to evolve, to face our limitations, and to act with courage and conviction. While the path may be difficult, the truth always leads us toward a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Transformation is a necessity because life in its essence is a process of constant change. Stagnation is the enemy of growth, and without transformation, we risk becoming trapped in outdated patterns of thinking, behaving, and being. It is easy to become complacent, to settle into routines that feel comfortable, to cling to familiar identities and structures that no longer serve us. Yet, the world around us is always shifting, evolving, and presenting new challenges. To remain static in such a dynamic environment is to risk being left behind, disconnected from the opportunities and experiences that can lead to personal fulfillment and progress. Transformation is not a luxury or an abstract concept. It is a vital component of living a meaningful life. It requires that we confront aspects of ourselves that are difficult to face, whether they be past traumas, ingrained fears, or limiting beliefs. Transformation demands that we acknowledge the parts of ourselves that are holding us back, the ways in which we are sabotaging our potential, and the excuses we use to avoid facing the truth. This process of self-reflection is often uncomfortable, even painful, but it is essential. Without this confrontation, we remain locked in patterns that no longer serve our growth, perpetuating cycles of dissatisfaction, fear, and unfulfilled potential. The necessity of transformation also arises from the fact that life presents us with constant challenges that require adaptation. The world we live in is not static, and neither are the circumstances that shape our lives. From personal loss to unexpected setbacks to the evolution of societal norms, life is full of surprises. These events force us to adapt, to change our approach, and to find new ways of navigating the complexities of the human experience. Without transformation, we become rigid and resistant to change, and as a result, we struggle to cope with the inevitable uncertainties that life brings. Transformation also brings about deeper alignment with our true selves. As we grow, we shed the layers of conditioning, fear, and doubt that have accumulated over time. We begin to understand who we truly are, independent of external expectations or societal norms. This self-awareness allows us to make decisions that are authentic and meaningful, rather than driven by superficial desires or the need for approval. Transformation allows us to uncover our true purpose and in doing so, it provides the clarity and direction needed to move forward in life. Transformation is an essential part of our relationships with others. As we change and evolve, we become better equipped to understand and connect with those around us. We let go of old patterns of judgment and defensiveness, opening ourselves to deeper empathy and understanding. We become more attuned to the needs and experiences of others, fostering more authentic and fulfilling connections. Through transformation, we break down barriers that once kept us isolated, learning to engage with the world from a place of compassion and shared humanity. The necessity of transformation is also rooted in the idea that we are all capable of change, no matter our past or present circumstances. Transformation is not reserved for the few or the fortunate. It is available to everyone. It is a matter of recognizing the opportunity for growth in every challenge we face and choosing to embrace it. Whether through difficult experiences or moments of introspection, we have the power to evolve and become better versions of ourselves. This is the essence of human potential, to continuously transform, to grow beyond our limitations, and to reach for something higher. Without transformation, we stagnate, trapped in the confines of who we were yesterday, unable to step into the fullness of who we could be tomorrow. Transformation is a fundamental necessity in life because it is through change that we grow, evolve, and ultimately become more aligned with our true selves. It requires us to face discomfort, to challenge old ways of thinking, and to shed the outdated aspects of our identity. Through transformation, we adapt to life's challenges, deepen our understanding of ourselves and others, and unlock the potential for a life of greater meaning and fulfillment. Transformation is not an option, it is the very process that allows us to fully live. Hope, often considered a powerful source of motivation and resilience, has a unique relationship with order and discipline. When life feels overwhelming, chaotic, or uncertain, it is easy to feel as though hope is slipping a coast, buried beneath the weight of challenges and adversity. Yet, hope is not merely an abstract feeling or wishful thinking. It is a force that is nurtured through the establishment of order and the practice of discipline. These two elements, often seen as rigid or confining, are actually the foundations upon which hope can flourish. Order provides structure in a world that often feels unpredictable and overwhelming. In times of crisis or uncertainty, the act of imposing order in even the smallest aspects of life can restore a sense of control and clarity. When everything around us seems to be in disarray, taking the time to organize our environment, set priorities, and create a sense of routine can help us regain a foothold. Order doesn't eliminate chaos, but it allows us to manage it more effectively. It acts as a stabilizing force, providing us with a framework within which we can begin to take action. In this sense, hope is born not out of the absence of difficulties, but through our ability to maintain order in the face of them. The more we can order our thoughts, our actions, and our environment, the more we create a sense of agency and possibility in a world that often feels out of our control. Discipline, too, plays a critical role in nurturing hope. Discipline is not about rigid perfectionism or blind adherence to rules. It is about creating the conditions necessary for long-term success and growth. It requires commitment, consistency, and the ability to persevere in the face of obstacles. Discipline is the bridge between intention and action. It is the force that transforms our desires and aspirations into concrete steps that move us toward a better future. When we practice discipline, we take ownership of our lives and the choices we make. It is through discipline that we begin to shape our circumstances rather than be shaped by them. Each small, deliberate action we take, each decision to follow through on our commitments builds momentum. This momentum generates hope as we begin to see that our efforts, no matter how incremental, are contributing to a larger, meaningful change. Hope, in its truest form, is not passive. It is an active, ongoing process. It requires that we invest in our future through both order and discipline. The presence of hope isn't just the result of a wish or desire. It is the product of consistent, intentional work. When we engage in disciplined actions that move us closer to our goals, we reinforce the belief that positive change is possible. It is easy to feel hopeless when things seem insurmountable, but when we take steps to organize our lives and create discipline in our actions, we begin to build a path forward. Each small victory, each act of responsibility, is an affirmation that we are capable, that progress is being made, and that the future holds promise. Order and discipline also foster resilience in the face of setbacks. In moments of failure or hardship, it is easy to lose hope and give in to despair. But when we have cultivated a sense of order and discipline, we have a foundation from which to rebuild. Instead of being overwhelmed by the weight of adversity, we are able to respond with clarity and purpose. Discipline teaches us that setbacks are not permanent, that they are merely obstacles to be navigated rather than insurmountable barriers. With order and discipline, we create the mental and emotional resilience necessary to stay the course, to keep moving forward, even when the road ahead seems unclear. Hope thrives on the belief that progress is not only possible but within reach. Through the establishment of order and the cultivation of discipline, we provide ourselves with the tools to shape our lives in meaningful ways. The hope that emerges is not some fleeting, fragile notion, but a grounded, actionable force that propels us toward a better future. When we act with purpose, when we create structure in the face of chaos, and when we consistently take steps toward our goals, we begin to see the power of hope in action. It is through order and discipline that we transform hope from a passive emotion into an active, driving force that shapes our reality and guides us through even the most challenging times.